Aghasura. So till yesterday, we finished the pastimes of Krishna slaying down the demons, Bakasura and Vatsasura. And today it's the turn of Aghasura. So Shukadev Goswami continues telling Parikshit Maharaj. So once Krishna decides to have a sort of a picnic in the forest with his cowherd friends, the boys. So he wakes up very early in the morning and then he plays his flute. He calls all the cowherd boys and they all decide to go into the forest. So the calves also accompany them because every day they take the calves. So all of them get ready and there are hundreds of cowherd boys. They are not few. He says asankhya. So there are many, many. And all of them come and join Krishna. The boys, they all get up, get ready. They look very beautiful, carry their lunch bags, their buggles, their flutes, and the sticks by which they control the calves. So along with the cowherd boys, the calves are also coming. They all assemble and then they go to the forest. Very, very playful, enjoying each other's company. Now these boys were all well decorated. When they come from their homes, all of them are well decorated, looking very appealing with ornaments, with pearls and gold. But when they reach the forest, they further decorate themselves. They use the fruits, the leaves, the flowers, peacock feathers, etc. And they further decorate themselves. And then they are all amusing with each other. They do a lot of naughty things. They tease one another. They are playful, cracking jokes. And how they perform all these things is, they snatch each other's lunch bag. They go and hide it somewhere and then make this boy search for his lunch bag. And then they hold it in one hand. When the boy comes near, they'll throw it to the other one. So they are playing catch and not allowing this boy to take hold of his lunch bag. So they have various activities like that where they'll be teasing each other, playing, making fun of one another. And when this boy would be, very disappointed that he is not being given his bag, then the other boys would laugh. And the moment they see, okay, he's about to cry, they will return the bag. So this is how they were all playing, enjoying the company of one another. Suddenly Krishna would go, a little far into the forest, and all the boys will be in a competition. They will be like, I want to go and touch him first. So who will reach first to Krishna? And they'll have a competition like that, and they will run towards Krishna and they want to touch him. So repeatedly by touching him, looking at him, they all were enjoying. So we're busy with different activities. They'll be playing their flutes or their buggles. Now here, Shukadev Goswami is mentioning that some boys blew their flutes. So by this we understand that in Vrindavan, it was not only Krishna who was playing the flute. Others were also playing. But Krishna's flute was different. Of course, what he blew would mesmerize everyone. He was the best. Then they would imitate, make out voices of some bumblebees or like a cuckoo, keep running here and there, copy the other birds like swans or ducks, imitating them, dancing around, jumping on the trees, and then making faces like the monkeys and all. So these were all the pastimes they were performing in that place. So while all this was happening in their so-called picnic, the demon named Aghasura appears there. So Aghasura was actually sent by Kamsa. Aghasura was the younger brother of Putana and Bakasura. So he was already having that hatred towards Krishna because he had killed both of them, right? Putana and Bakasura both were killed by Krishna. So he was already filled with vengeance. And when Kamsa sent him, he comes across. He sees all these boys enjoying with Krishna in this spot. And then he decides, nice way to kill. So now is the time for him to take revenge. And if he is able to kill Krishna, then Putana and Bakasura will be satisfied. So he goes, he plans how to get Krishna. So he thinks, some way if I can make Krishna and his associates, um, come near me, and if I can kill them all, then automatically even the inhabitants of the Vrajabhumi will be lifeless. Everybody, because if the children are not there, all will be very, very sad, and the inhabitants of Raja will also die. So Aghasura assumes the form of a huge python, and the python is 8 miles long, and the height is huge like a mountain. So he assumes this body of a python, and he spreads his mouth. He opens his mouth very big. So it is said that his lower lip of the mouth is touching the ground. It's on the ground. And the upper one is wide open, and it is almost like touching the clouds in the sky. And the either side, now up and down, are touching the ground and the sky. And on the sides, the borders of the mouth, when you open the borders, you can see. So the borders were almost looking like the sides of a big cave. So they had this feeling, the Aghasura will expand himself like this, open his mouth, put it on the ground, mimicking as if it is a cave. And he laid there with his mouth wide open, waiting for Krishna and his friends to come. So his eyes were, they say that it was looking like fire. And some warm breath was also coming from his open mouth. Now these boys passing that way, they happen to see. And they're wondering, what is this huge thing over here? Maybe it's something, a beautiful spot in Vrindavan, which we have not seen before. And they were imagining, they were all, attracted to it. So they were looking at it, and some said, oh, it looks like a cave. Some felt, no, it looks like a mouth of some great creature. And they were all having some descriptions and making jokes out of it. They also wondered, is it some creature? Is it alive or is it dead? Is it that it has kept its mouth wide open only to swallow us? So they were making fun. They were doubtful, a little bit of a confusion, a little bit of a doubt, but they were making fun also. But then ultimately they decide, okay, it looks very nice, so let us go and see. And then somewhere in their hearts, the point is also there, okay, if something goes wrong, Krishna is always there. Anyhow, he has protected them from so many calamities, so many asuras. So this time also Krishna is along with us. So what is there to worry? So finally, they decide to go inside the so-called cave. Now, Supreme Personality Krishna, he is aware, no? All these thoughts of the Gopakumars, his cowherd friends, he is aware, he's Antaryami. So he hears what all these are talking about. And he knows that it is actually the demon Aghasura, who has appeared as a huge python. So he wanted to forbid them from going inside, but somehow the cowherd boys already entered the mouth of the demon. The demon did not close his mouth. He was waiting because he wanted Krishna. So he was waiting. He thought, let Krishna also once come inside and then I can swallow them all together and kill them. So Krishna saw all this happening and he thought what to do. He had to save the cowherd boys. He could not see the separation of those boys from him. So he, of course, he's a supreme lord. So he already has a plan with him. He cannot allow the demon to kill his friends. So he also decides, thinks a little bit, and then he slowly walks behind. He follows the cowherd boys. And he also enters the mouth of Aghasura. Now, when Krishna entered the mouth, all the demigods who were watching this, they were all upset. They were like, oh, alas, now what? Krishna is swallowed by the demon. But the very next moment, Krishna begins to expand himself. He enlarges, he goes on enlarging, and simultaneously, the demon, feeling the pressure inside, also expands a little bit. But Krishna is all powerful. Who can compete with him? So he expands himself so much, is within the body that he is almost choked him. So the python could no longer breathe. So much that he got suffocated. And his life air had to come out. So there was no outlet for the uh, life air of the python to come out because Krishna expanded and he almost blocked all the outlets. So now the only place left for it was the Brahmarandra. So finally, being so much suffocated under the pressure, the demon's life air bursts out through a hole in the top of its head. And from there, the soul escapes out. So that's how he was killed. His eyes roll out, they were popped out. And finally, the demon leaves his body. So everybody could see the effulgence, from this body and effulgence coming out. And it stays there outside for a while, independent. And Krishna remains in his body for some time, even after the soul has left. Now everybody was pleased. The demigods begin to shower flowers. They are so happy that finally the demon is killed and Krishna is safe along with all the cowherd boys. Now all this was happening. Brahma also could hear. Because once the Aghasura was killed, the demigods began to shower flowers. The celestial, the denizens, they all began to sing and dance. The Gandharvas were all in praises for Krishna. So everybody was glorifying Krishna, both in the heavens as well as in the earth. So Lord Brahma also hears all this. He says, what's happening? The music going on. Everybody is singing Jai Jai. So he also he visualizes what is going on. And he sees that everybody is glorifying Lord Krishna. He was very astonished. He says, oh, Aghasura is killed by this little boy, Krishna, and everybody is glorifying him. So this incident happens when Krishna was just 5 years old. But actually, the pastime was revealed to the Brajvasis after 1 year of this episode. We'll know why. We'll just tell you a short file later why this was so. So you see what happened here. The cowherd boys had faith in Krishna and they were all saved. The demon, Aghasura, got liberation in the hands of Krishna And this effulgence, I told you, it comes out of the body and stays outside for a while, separate. And then it enters the lotus feet of Krishna, merges with him. So it got Sayujya Mukti. Now the point is, Aghasura was a demon, yet he was liberated. So Jiva Goswami in his commentary brings this point. Krishna himself has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that those who are sinful, who are demoniac, who do not believe in Krishna, they all attain lower species of life or they go to hell, right? They don't get liberated. These are the words of Krishna himself. But we see that all the demons are getting liberation. Now in Krishna Leela, right from Putana, there are so many. No? Putana, Pralamba, Dhenuka, Keshi, Bakasura. Everyone, even Kamsa, Shalva. Now in further also we all see this. So Jiva Goswami makes a comment. What is this? Things are going against the statements of Lord Krishna himself. Because Krishna says, if you turn away your face from the Lord and stop thinking about Krishna, then you will go to hell. Then what is the point? Demons are also liberated and the devotees are also liberated. How is that possible? So the answer is, if one thinks of Krishna, even if negatively disposed, he is liberated. So if devotees focus their mind on Krishna, devotees are always loving, wanting to serve Krishna. So their focus is totally on Krishna. So no doubt they will be liberated. But the demons, although with hatred, although with an intention to kill the Lord, are also focusing on Krishna. And that's why they are getting liberation. They are also getting the mukti. So if they are not focusing, then they will not get mukti. But then if both are getting mukti, what is the difference? Both are being liberated. So Jiva Goswami says, the demons get liberated for sure. If their focus is on Krishna, they are also getting liberated. But the devotees get special liberation. That's called Vimukti. So the devotees are reinstated in the spiritual abode with the bliss of serving Krishna. They get to see Krishna, they get to serve Krishna. The demons do not get that. They only merge with Brahmajyoti. And they don't get this joy of doing Nija Seva to the Lord. So Aghasura, being a demon, gets liberation because of having received some association with Krishna. Now, Krishna entered his body. Krishna touched him and remained in his body for some time. So Aghasura was purified. So how merciful Krishna is. Even when he kills someone, the one who is killed also attains liberation. So finally, Aghasura, though full of hatred, with vengeance, he wanted to take the revenge of his sister and brother's death, meets Krishna, gets purified by him, gets some association of Lord Krishna, and finally, he also is liberated. Now we go to the next part. Now, soon after these boys are saved from Aghasura, they all come out from the mouth of Aghasura. And then they go to the bank of the river. Okay, they all together go there. And Krishna tells them, look, the river bank is so beautiful. And the atmosphere here is so pleasing, so nice, so attractive. Just see the birds here, the flowers over here, and the aroma in the air. The birds are chirping. It's a very beautiful place. The sand here is so soft, green pastures around. So let us, choose this place, be here for a while, and enjoy this place. So maybe we should have our food also here. Now, by this time, all were hungry. So they decide to stop by the bank of the river. And even the calves who were waiting for such a long time, so they decide that the calves can also drink some water, have some rest, eat the green grass in the surroundings, and in the meanwhile, these people can also have their lunch. So the cowherd boys allow the calves to go and drink water in the river, and then they tie them to the trees nearby. And the calves are grazing now, enjoying their meal. Now the boys also open their lunch boxes, and they all want to enjoy their food. So they sit surrounding Krishna. Now, Krishna is always in the center, right? Everybody loves him, everyone wants to be with him. So all the boys surround Krishna and sit around him like circles. So everyone was looking uh, forward. They were looking towards Krishna, thinking that Krishna will look at them. So each one is very, very eager to interact, to see Krishna, and even to feed him. They all exchanged their food. So they all were sitting together in these circles. So they take out, although they bought their lunch boxes, they take some flowers, leaves, bunches of leaves, and then they make it like their plates. Even the bark of the trees are used. So everybody is spread around Krishna. And we already discussed there are hundreds and thousands of them. So they all sit encircling him in the place, and all are very eager to look at Krishna. So now they take out all their preparations, which they brought from their home, and they begin eating. So each one of them is tasting from others' box, but they all offer their food to Krishna first, right? So when they are sitting together, they're all crowded, right? So many together. But the beauty is, each one was feeling as if Krishna is sitting with him, as if Krishna was right in front of him, talking to him. Now, that was their feeling, as if Krishna was reciprocating with him. So Krishna is Yagnabhuk, means he is a supreme lord, right? He eats only the offerings of the yajna. And here, in these pastimes with the cowherd boys, he is sitting right between them, and he is enjoying the food from their boxes, from their hands, right? This is a beautiful reciprocation he was doing. So Krishna sat down in between with his flute tucked to his waist, and in his left hand he was having this stick with which they would control the calves. He had his horn bugle, and in his one hand he was holding this uh, for the preparation of yogurt and rice, and some fruits tucked in between his fingers. And everybody, all the boys sitting around him, surrounding him. And he was licking, he was eating from his hand. They all were happy, joking with one another, laughing, talking to one another, and enjoying the meal thoroughly. Now, all the demigods are watching from above. Now, how this Supreme Personality is enjoying. And they all know that Krishna takes only the offering from Yajna. So they were all surprised. Ki, what's going on? And Krishna is eating with his friends, that also in the forest, because Krishna does not accept anything material. So thus they were all engaged, feeding one another, eating, talking to one another. And then suddenly the cowherd boys realize that the calves are missing. Now they see that they are not to be visible anywhere. So their faces are now a little anxious, some fright. And Krishna could observe that. So he also understands, okay, they are afraid, something is wrong. And then he realizes, yes, the calves are missing. So he tells his friends, it's all right. You sit here, you continue your food. I'll go in search of the calves. So you need not stop eating. You finish your lunch. I'll go. So you people enjoy here. And holding that yogurt and rice in his hand, he walks out. So he goes in search for the calves. He begins searching. He goes quite a distance to the mountain caves, the bushes around, all the surroundings. He's searching, but he couldn't find. Then he goes to the river bank. They are not there. And then he is wondering what's wrong. And then he comes back to the place where he has left his cowherd boys having their lunch. So now all this was being observed by Brahma also, right? So what happened to the calves? Now Krishna could understand. The moment he comes back and sees that even his friends were missing, he understood who did this. So Brahma has taken away the boys as well as the calves. Now, why did Brahma do this? Now, Brahma, watching everything, seeing that Krishna was being glorified, and then soon after, all of them sitting and enjoying the food. Now, Brahma, the writer of the Vedas, he very well knows how Krishna, the Supreme Lord, accepts things, right? So he says he is Yajna Purusha. He will take only the offerings in the yajna, and that also with lot of rules and regulations. You have to follow lot of things. How come he is eating? From the mouth, his friend is here swallowing some laddu, and Krishna, just snatches it from his mouth, puts it into his mouth. He takes food from their plates. He is like, how can the Supreme Lord do this? Just like an ordinary boy snatching fruit from other people's boxes, other people's hands. So he is not convinced. For a while, he is confused. He's overtaken by Maya. And the thoughts come, is he really the Supreme Lord? How can the Supreme Lord do this? He's all powerful. Huh? He's such a great personality. And what is this happening over here? He's behaving like an ordinary boy. So is he really Krishna? Is he really the Supreme Lord? So he wanted to test. The doubt has come into his mind and he wants to clarify this. So he says, okay, let me find out. So what he does? He just takes away all the calves and the boys to some other place. Now he wanted to see how powerful Krishna was. If he was the real Supreme Lord, definitely he will show some mystic opulence. So now Krishna was unable to find the calves. He returned to the bank. No cowherd boys. He searched and then he understood what has happened. So for the pleasure of Brahma, he continues with the pastime. Okay, now he says, okay, Brahma wants to test me. It's fine. So he starts now playing with Brahma also. What he does? He expands himself. Now Brahma has taken all of them and gone, right? To put them in some secluded place. Now Krishna expands. He expands exactly into the number of the cowherd boys who were missing and the calves who were missing. So with their exact bodily features, so many, hundreds and thousands, he expands and all of them look exactly like those cowherd boys with individual features of the calves as well. Same dress, same ornaments, the age, the form, their activities, everything was the replica. So now Krishna showed his power. He's all pervading, right? So now he showed this. He expands himself. Now, with this, Krishna entered Brajbhumi. the land of his father. See, they had come for a picnic, and by evening they had all to return to their respective homes. So now Krishna expanded, and then all these calves and the cowherd boys, along with Krishna, they return. So they all go back to the calves go back to their sheds, the boys go back to their houses. And once they go there, the mothers of the boys, as usual, whenever they return home, what do? They do? They make them take bath, change their clothes, decorate them nicely, and then give them food. They feed them. They embrace them, right? So now what happens when these people return and the mothers and fathers see their children? The mothers are filled with extraordinary love and affection towards these kids. The love is overflowing. They embrace them and they began to feed them. Now, this is quite natural because now these boys were none other than expansions of Krishna himself. So their love automatically overflowed. They took special pleasure in feeding their sons today. And this expanded Krishna in the form of the cowherd boys also reciprocated. So he drank the milk, he ate the offerings, and he reciprocated with the same kind of love and affection to these mothers. Now this continued. The next day again, all of these boys and the calves, all Krishna's expansions only, they again go out. Now, with each passing day, it was observed that the mothers took extra care of these boys. They were filled with love and affection. Now, day by day, it was increasing. The attachment was increasing. They were more attached to the kids. And they were doing everything, experiencing a lot of satisfaction and happiness. So the acharyas say that they were all given the opportunity to serve Krishna personally. Actually, Krishna was giving them an opportunity. He was actually fulfilling their innermost desire. So it is said that whenever the gopis saw Yashoda take care of Krishna, nurse him, bathe him, feed him, whenever they saw their interaction, the all gopis were filled with lot of love towards Krishna, and they nurtured an inner desire. If only we could also mother Krishna, for a day, some time, we could also love him like Yashoda. If only Krishna was our son. So all these thoughts were there, and Krishna was aware of this. So through this Leela, he gives the opportunity to all the gopis in Vrindavan, the Brajvasis. He gives this opportunity to fulfill their innermost desire. So like this, one whole year has been spent. Every day the calves go out, Krishna is going out, eating grass, enjoying the food made by their mothers. But who is enjoying all this? Krishna himself. So he only in the form of the calves is eating the grass. He in the form of the cowherd boys is having the food. He is playing with himself. He is cracking jokes with himself, right? He is enjoying the company of himself. And like this, the days are passing. Now, with each day, the attachment between the cowherd boys and the mothers is increasing. Between the calves and the cows is increasing. And Balram every day is accompanying Krishna, right? He also couldn't find out. But by the time the 1 year was coming to an end, the last 5-6 days, as usual, these people go out to tend the calves. They enter the forest, and they were all in the pastures. And these cows were taken up by Their fathers, they were all on the top of the Govardhana hill. So these cows happened to see the calves down, in the base of the Govardhana hill. So from the top, they happened to see the calves are all down. And suddenly the affection increases within them. And they couldn't hold back. So the cows suddenly start rushing and running towards their calves with great anxiety. The cowherd men could not stop. They could not control them. They just saw that these all were out of control and just running so fast, they could do nothing. Okay, they also follow the cows. Now the cows just run, run, run and go and reach their calves. They start licking the calves as if they have never met before or they were lost. They start licking them, showing their affection, cuddling, feeding them. And although in this 1 year, the some cows have even delivered. So they have the baby calves as well. Now, in spite of that, they were feeding these older calves. So they allowed the older calves to drink milk and they were licking, they were full of affection, as if, they are licking so much as if they will swallow. So much of an extraordinary love being visible. Now, Balrama becomes a little suspicious. He says, what's going on? This is unusual. I mean, every day the calves are with the cows. And today, what is this? Why are they overshowing their affection? And how come they are feeding these elderly calves? How is that possible? Instead of feeding the baby calves, these cows are feeding the elder calves. So he was astonished. What something is going wrong? Something is there which I am not understanding. And then these cowherd men, they are also doing the same thing. They run behind the cows. They come and see their children over there. And their fatherly affection is also overflowing. They also start embracing their sons. And they are all showering so much of affection. No? Balram is like, what's wrong? Tears are rolling down their eyes. They are so affectionate. None of them want to go back to their work. It's with great difficulty, they return to the forest. Now, seeing this constant attachment, Baldev, he questions Krishna. He says, what's going on? What is this change? What are you doing? No? Why the affection of all the inhabitants of Vraja is suddenly increased towards these boys, suddenly towards the calves? This was never before. So what is happening? Then Krishna tells him. So Krishna reveals what's going on. And then Balram sees, oh, these are all expansions of Krishna himself. So these boys are not the demigods. First, Baldev thought that maybe they are the demigods. But he said, okay, so this is you. These are not the demigods. The calves are not great sages. They are all your expansions. You are manifesting yourself in all varieties. So you are existing in this form. Now, Brahma returns. Brahma has been away only for a moment, right? He just took hold of the calves of the cowherd boys and he vanished to hide them in a secluded place and he comes back. Now, one moment of Brahma is one whole year, the earthly year. So when he comes back, he was expecting that everybody should be worried, right? But to his amusement, he saw that all was normal. The cowherd boys are there, the calves are there, they are as usual enjoying with themselves. Now Brahma is wondering, what's wrong? What has happened? I have taken these boys and have hid them, and yet they are here. How is that possible? So now Brahma is also illusioned. Brahma thought he himself can do some Maya. No? He used his mystic potency and made all of these calves and boys disappear. And to his astonishment, he sees that everybody is there. Then he starts thinking, what is this? How is this possible? Are they the same boys? Or is it someone else? What is happening? No. Am I seeing a dream? So he's thinking, he tried to distinguish between these two sets of boys. He tried to understand who was real, who was not real, but he could not understand. Now, Krishna is created, right? The other set. So Brahma himself was mystified. So you see, if Brahma is mystified, what about the ordinary Jivatmas? So he himself got bewildered. So Lord Brahma looks all the calves and the boys, tending them. He's wondered, what is this? What is this? Who is this? Now seeing this bewilderment, Krishna does another opulence. So now suddenly all of them change their complexions to the color of bluish rain clouds. All are dressed in yellow silken garments. All appear in the form of Narayana, the four-handed Krishna holding the conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus flower. So everybody is looking the same. Now Brahma is astonished. He is watching all of this. He says, how come all the cowherd boys look like Narayana, four-handed Vishnu? Everybody has a Kaustubha gem around their necks. The conch shell, all the signs are there. And they all appear very beautiful. They were decorated with garlands with tulsi leaves. And Brahma is looking at them, his both eyes wide open. He is mesmerized. He is immersed in that appearance of the Lord. Now he realizes. He realizes what he is. And he realizes that this is all because of the Supreme Lord. So as he saw these Vishnu Murtis were surrounded by opulences with lot of mystic potencies, he also sees the time factor, Kala, then the three gunas. Now he is able to visualize everything, and suddenly he realizes what a blunder he has done. He realizes this small boy is none other than the Supreme Lord himself. And he is totally immersed in the bliss. No? Visualizing Lord is so blissful. So suddenly he realizes. Now he understands the mystic power. He says, he thought he had the mystic power, and now he says the mystic power of the Lord himself. So he's stunned by this transcendental bliss. And he stands there, totally silent, benumbed, just like a child will be mesmerized at shocked looking something out of the blue. Like that, Brahma is also totally immersed and lost. He doesn't know what is happening around him. He's just looking at the Lord, looking at the four-handed Vishnu, and looking at all these things. And suddenly he wonders, what is this? I am not even able to see Krishna. I am seeing only Narayana. Now understanding the Brahma's position, Krishna removes the curtain of his Yogamaya. Now Brahma regains his consciousness. He's suddenly as if he's coming back to life. When a dead person comes back to life, how he will be looking. So Brahma suddenly comes out of that daze. He opens his eyes with great difficulty, and then he is able to see the universe along with himself. He sees the surroundings. He's able to now see the Vrindavana filled with trees. So here it is said that it was Yogamaya, the potency by which Krishna is sometimes manifested and sometimes not manifested. So the Mahamaya is the potency which covers the reality and displays something unreal. So the Supreme Lord is not obtained by knowledge, by explanations, or by intelligence, or even by much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. So although Brahma, the knower of the four Vedas, could not see the Supreme Lord, he was also bewildered, and he thinks to test because he was not sure whether he is the Supreme Lord. So until and unless the Lord wants to manifest, it does not happen. So in spite of being the knower of the Vedas, Brahma still didn't know the Supreme Lord. So even that vast knowledge did not help him to understand the personality of Godhead. So it is said that the Brahman and the Paramatma can actually be understood only through devotion. So only the devotees can understand. So now Brahma became free from false ego, and he surrenders to Krishna wholeheartedly, because now he is free of his ego. He is able to visualize the absolute truth. He is able to see through the reality, and he is able to see through the Vrindavan. So now he sees with a new vision. Vrindavan is actually the transcendental abode of the Supreme Lord, right? It's a beautiful place where there is no hunger, no anger, no thirst. Even the enemies live there like friends. Even the animals which kill the others for their food, right? They also live there in friendship. So now Lord Brahma was able to see all this. He could see that this small child in the family of the cowherd men was none other than the Supreme Lord. And within a second, the view changes. Right now, from the Narayana form, he is able to see the Krishna, the small boy with morsel of food in his hand, with a stick in his left hand, about to eat his food, and who was running around searching for the calves. So now Brahma falls down at his feet. He, with all his four heads, he bows down, pays his obeisances to Lord Krishna, and tears flow from his eyes. He's so joyful for visualizing Krishna. So he bows down with tears in his eyes. He pays obeisances, and he remembers the Lord's greatness. No, just now he had visualized things. So all that is going on in his mind. He's visualizing it again and again, remembering it. So Brahma then looks up at the Lord. And now he's in all praises for the Supreme Lord. So that's how he glorifies the Supreme Lord, which we recite as Brahma Samhita. So that's how the Brahma Vimohan Leela ends. So now what happened? At the age of 5, this Leela happened. But that one moment of Brahma is equal to 1 year on this planet. And so by the time Brahma realizes and everybody is restored back, Brahma then returns those cowherd boys and calves, and everybody comes to their original forms. So 1 year has passed. But for the cowherd boys, they were not aware of this time. So they feel just some time has passed. And so when they come back in the evening, so they recite this pastime as if it happened just now. So that's how the pastime that occurred at the age of 5 was made known to the Vrajavasis at the age of 6. Till then, nobody was aware of it. Okay. So there ends the pastime of Brahma Vimohana Leela today.